Hi guys, thank you so much for stopping by. So today I will be doing a self-watering planter review. This is from Lechuza. And I have my orchid in here. It is a Cattleya Orchid. I don't know if you guys know anything about orchids, and I will show you. This is my plant journal. This is my orchid plant journal. I have a total of three different plant journals, and I am using the Mambi Wrong notebook. I have added different inserts in here because I have more than one plant. Let me just flip through real quick. So this is the, okay. So this is, I believe, the Lavender Splash and Two-Tone. But the tag, because this came with two tags, and the other tag is it's really bulky for me, so I don't keep it in the planter because I prefer, even that little room alone will just, get the light to the plant, and I could just go on my guide here. So, I got this in July of 2019, not the planter, the plant. And when I got this had 4 leaves right there. See that? It had 4 leaves, and now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I don't know. This might be a 5th one. This wasn't here when I bought it. So, that's progress. If you're new to, having orchids and things like that, they are slow growers. So patience really is key with stuff like that. But I'm not going to talk about the orchid itself. I'm really going to focus on the planter. I really love this planter. This is probably my favorite planters, because I have more than one associated planters. It's just really expensive. And from my personal experience, because I've had this planter since 2010. So it's been, 9-10 years? It's been, yeah, it's been a while. And I have, the last time I stopped using this was about 2017 2017 or 18. I last used this, and then this wasn't being used. It was just in my basement, just kind of sitting there and waiting for its turn to be used. There was a time I was just so busy with my son, and we just moved into our forever home, and all of our plants died just due to the shock and the change of the location. And when we were at our last apartment, we didn't really have a lot of light, and they were all used to like 12 hours of light a day. So anyway, I picked this particular color because I feel like black just blends with everything. And at the time that I purchased this, black was like my go-to color, especially for like everything. Decor, furniture, everything was just black. It's just black. So I love, I used this because, and also the other reason that I used that is because I wanted the showstopper to be the plant, not the planter. It's not a bad thing where I go see a lot of planters and they're so pretty. I don't have success with a lot of pretty planters, to be honest. They always make my plants die. And then I discovered this planter. It doesn't work with every plant. I decided one day, my husband purchased me an orchid, and I've never owned orchids before. He was the one that introduced me to gardening, and now it's been insane. We have so many plants in our house. So I decided to actually get this because I bought an orange tree and a lemon tree for indoors. And it said that, to me, it was just like it was going to benefit the plant because there's constant moisture coming from the reservoir down here. So that's why. When you purchase this brand new, and I will link down below everything, it comes with kind of like an, I don't know what to call that, like some kind of flooring that has some legs so that there's water underneath for the reservoir. And then it comes with this. You do have to put this together. It comes with this. It's a little dirty and it's just the inside and I don't know how to clean it. It comes with this. This is the dial, the measuring system. The water, when it measures, it's not from here to here. It's only in the very bottom. Let me just move this a little quick. It's about here to here. That's what this is. And every little bit, like every millimeter that goes down, this actually goes down. So, this is what I use with all my orchids. I've never grown orchids in any way, shape, or form that they usually do traditionally. I live in the Midwest and we have a centralized home. We do have a humidifier, but that's still not really enough sometimes. This is an Orchid Bark. And again, all the stuff that I'm using, I will link it down below. And you know, whatever, if you have any questions that I probably won't cover or I forget to cover, let me know down below as well. But anyway, so what I do, aside from like a flooring that it comes in and out, like you can pop it out, it will have a hole. So this can be popped in because this right here, is not really permanently attached to the planter. So you can take that out. And then you have to put gravel on there just so the dirt doesn't really go through the water. I mean, because the flooring underneath, I'm sorry, I have had multiple head traumas in the past, like, few years. So bear with me. So with that, you put the gravel in about, it does come with a packet of gravel, but I have reused this and I just bought my gravel. About an inch, I would say, should be okay. And then you put in whatever dirt or bark needs for your plant. I use orchid bark for my orchids. I've never used dirt or any other kind of way to grow my orchids. I've used it in this type of planter and I've only used orchid bark. What I love about this is that, let me just double check. It has been, depending on the plant and how thirsty your plant is, for this one, I would say the last time this was watered was, oh dear, probably about over a month ago. Yeah, this is probably over a month ago that I watered it last, and it still has some water here. So pretty much when you pick your plant and you put it in here, you want to make sure your dirt or your bark or whatever you're using, or it doesn't really go up to here. And there are directions that come with it. You want to make sure it's a little lower than that. Another tip that I've, just by using this, really follow directions, because it's very easy. And if you're one of those people that have a hard time, knowing when to water your plants, when your plants need any water and things like that, I would recommend this planter. Yes, it's expensive. It's expensive, but you know, to me, there are a lot of regular planters out there that doesn't even have a hole in the bottom, and they're really freaking expensive. And so you add a little bit more, you can get this. This doesn't have a hole in the bottom. So this is what's going to happen. You water it, let's just say it's the first time, right? You water it, and this, the tip of the dial, or the tip of the red stick in here, reaches the max level. Make sure it's not over. When you put it over, there's a huge chance it will like murder your plant. So make sure it is right there, or even like a millimeter or two below it. But this is where I always stop putting the water. And sometimes, depending on the type of material you put in, for the base for your plant, for where your roots would be, you will have to wait. You have to check every half hour to an hour and then you add a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, because it's just slowly going to go down. And it just depends on the type of soil you have. So that's something else. And as soon as it hits the minimum, depending on the size of your plant, depending on how long you've had your plant in this planter, and depending on the size of the Lechuza planter, for this particular round one, I would suggest a minimum of 7 days to dry out. You can do it maximum 14 days. However, I've only had this plant for a little bit of time. It hasn't been over a year yet, so I'm not comfortable in letting it dry out for 2 weeks. That's just me. But the soonest you should water is 7 days after it hits the minimum mark. So let's just say it does it on the 1st of, let's just say the easiest is January 1st, right? January 1st. So the next time you water, it would be January 8th would be the soonest. If you can tell that your leaves of your plant still looks hydrated and you want to push off an extra day or two, especially for certain plants like an orchid, do that. I have done that. I have waited 10 days, I have waited 12 days, and a maximum has been 14 days. And again, it depends on the size of your plant. It depends if your plant has also acclimated in the planter itself. This is very important. I've used this planter for about a decade, and that I'm sharing you guys information on how to use it and how to not kill your plant. For an orchid, everywhere you go, you have to water it once a week and then dry it out the rest of the time. This itself, for me, I think it benefits this particular plant from this particular planter very well, is because there is constant moisture, and orchids come from humid places like the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Madagascar, and things like that. They come from tropical places that is always incredibly humid. So because it's always incredibly humid, they need that and they thrive with that. So that's just what I've really loved about it. My husband was very amazed that my orchids have been the best orchids he's ever seen in his entire life. And his grandmother used to grow a ton of orchids, and he grew a ton of orchids. He has an orchid right now, and he uses one of my planters, but not the round one. I will do a separate review on I have a rectangular one for that. Just because I feel like it's a very different planter for that. This used to have a cap here, and it still does. It's just in my basement. The reason I don't have it on here is that I feel like every time the water evaporates, it always is kind of coming everywhere, because this is also started by other plants. It just kind of goes around that area, and so I like that part. So that's why I do that. But it does tell you to put a cap on here. It just prevents things to going in there and clogging the bottom, and for you to have to take everything out, cleaning the bottom, and you know, it's a lot more trouble than it is. From my experience, the plants that I used to put them in here, the only reason why I have to move them to something else, which would be a bigger size, is because they've grown. Again, I have never grown orchids aside from this kind of planter. A lot of people do in a different way and they love it. I've never done it, and I'm not comfortable in doing it. I have grown, I have also grown citrus plants in this. They didn't really survive. It's not the planter's fault. It was my fault. What I did was, and I didn't know at the time, my husband bought me an outdoor citrus fertilizer spike because he's used it before, and he said they're amazing. So we just didn't realize that there's a big difference of indoor fertilizer and outdoor fertilizer. So what my plants did is they overly produced fruit. There was so much fruit that it really drained the plant itself, and it died. That was why, like, my plant was drooping this way. It was pretty bad. I believe those are the only types of plants that I've tried with this. I would suggest, if you want to use this plant, it would thrive the best in a lot of house plants, not succulents. Anything that in nature grows with humidity, like an orchid, or any kind of plant that uses regular potting dirt or peat moss, anything that loves moisture but not soggy, constantly that the top is always moist but not soggy. That type of plant is definitely going to benefit in this planter because it's always constantly being fed. Okay? I do always apply supplement and fertilizer when I do keep them in here. I know that directions and other people don't really do that. A lot of people fertilize their plants in regards to season and not every time they water. I'm not like those people. I give them supplements and fertilizer every single time I do water. So whenever this dries out and it's time for me to fill the tank again, that has fertilizer and supplements in there. And I will do a review on those. With this one, I forgot the brands, but I will link them down below. I just don't want to make a mistake. So I will link them down below. I apologize for not really, remembering all of that. I've had questions as to why my Orchid Bark have different colors. The reason it's got different colors is because of the crystallization of the fertilizer. And also, I put ground cinnamon all over it because I had the mistake on buying Miracle-Gro dirt, and it was infested with fungus gnats, and so all my plants have fungus gnats now. So it doesn't really harm the plant, it doesn't really harm anybody, but they're really annoying and they're really embarrassing. So thanks for that, Miracle-Gro, and they were unwilling to really help my situation. They were just really sorry, which is what douchey companies do. There's always sorry, they're always sorry, and they give you like solutions, but they give you the problem and they're unwilling to pay for the solution to get it fixed. They just tell you, oh, go do this and go do that and go do this and go do that. Spend your money even more. That's pretty much that's literally what they did. I even have a long email on directions on how to get rid of them with my dime yet again. So anyway, I recommend this planter very, very much. I recommend this company, although my experience is very limited to certain kinds, this one included. So I forgot what size this is, but this comes in a few different sizes. I do have a really big one, and I have this one, and I have a rectangular one. My biggest one, it's empty right now, and I am planning to put in my lemon tree in there. If we're in the same plant groups in Facebook, or you follow my page on Facebook, or we're Facebook friends, or you follow me on Instagram, I believe I posted my lemon tree there, and I am thinking when it's warmer, like in the spring, I will try to transplant my lemon tree in one of these, but a bigger one. I hope I covered everything. I recommend this. I give this 5 out of 5 stars, 2 thumbs up. I recommend it 100%. I love this planter, and I actually am planning to buy more if I can. They're just really expensive, but to me, they really are worth it. I will link everything down below for you guys, whenever you feel like you want to check it out, you want to know a lot more about it, you want to know how much it is, and the technology. For me, I have seen and checked other kind of self-watering technologies out there. I believe that this company is pretty much the pioneer in that, and from what I've discovered versus everyone else, I feel like I've used this and it works, and I feel like it's the best. So I hope you like my video. You're gonna give me a thumbs up, and of course, if you haven't yet, hit the bell and the subscribe button. And that is my son, so I gotta go. Thanks, guys. I hope to see you guys in my next video. And if there's anything else that I didn't cover, please let me know down below in the comment section. And all my social media information will be down below as well. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.